The United States thought Filipinos were unfit to govern themselves. But what they did next shocked even their own generals. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll see how the Philippines went from being underestimated to a nation the world couldn't ignore. At the turn of the 20th century, the US won the Philippines from Spain, and almost immediately they treated the islands differently. Unlike Cuba or Puerto Rico, the Philippines was seen as a problem. Why? Because Americans didn't just think Filipinos were backward, they thought we were dangerous, unruly, and most of all, impossible to control. American generals laughed at Filipino leaders. They called them insurgents. But to Filipinos, they were heroes, fighting for freedom. And the US, they sent troops, guns, and a plan to crush every resistance, brutally. But here's where it gets interesting. The US thought they could teach Filipinos democracy in just a few years. They underestimated the intelligence, the culture, and the will of the people. They expected obedience, but what they got was strategy, cunning, and a fight after fight. Imagine the shock in the American camps when villagers used bamboo traps, ambushes, and secret messages that their generals couldn't decode. The US thought they were the teachers, only to realize they were being schooled in guerrilla warfare. The US imposed English schools, new laws, even American-style governments. But resistance didn't disappear, it adapted. Filipino leaders knew the US expected easy submission, and they played along, just enough to survive. Behind the scenes, the fight for real independence never stopped. And here's the twist. While the US treated other colonies like Cuba or Puerto Rico with leniency, the Philippines was seen as a testing ground, a place to experiment. Some Americans even joked that the islands were like a laboratory for colonial control. That arrogance would eventually backfire. Imagine being treated as a child by a superpower, every decision questioned, every tradition dismissed. Yet instead of breaking, the Filipino spirit only hardened. Every insult, every disrespect, every act of underestimation fueled a determination the US couldn't crush. They had no idea they were training a nation that would outlast them. By the end, the Philippines emerged uniquely different, not because the US gave freedom willingly, but because Filipinos fought, resisted, and outsmarted expectations at every turn. Today, the Philippines stands as a reminder. Underestimation can create its own defeat. The US treated the islands differently, and that difference came with the consequences they never fully imagined. If you want to see the exact moment Filipinos shocked the world and left even American generals speechless, check out our next story. You won't believe what happened.